Tom, did you want to tell your joke, or you want to? Was it going to land? Or I'm going to give you the opportunity.
No, I want the joke.
Let's go to SpaceX.
Let's
go to SpaceX. SpaceX, page 24. So the biggest revelations from the SpaceX S1 filing, folks. If you're not, listen. Some people are trying to run a business that does $1 million a year. Some run a business doing $10 million a year. Some get to $100 million, which is like, my God, I can't believe we build a $100 million a year business. This guy doesn't build billion-dollar companies. This guy's built multiple trillion-dollar companies. Let me say this again. He's built multiple companies that are not worth multi-billion dollars, multi-trillion dollars. And now SpaceX, which was just an idea, now all of a sudden, the single biggest IPO. So let me read a couple things to it. Musk's initiative to build a human colony. Making life multiplanetary is at the forefront of SpaceX's mission, number one. Number two, Musk's pay package could be worth up to $737 billion. Jeez. Based on the implied share count in the filings, Musk's 2 performance awards could be worth $737 billion. So what's your bonus this year, folks? His is $737 billion if he's able to get this done, okay? And that is if a $1 billion share award that vests if SpaceX reaches a valuation of $7.5 trillion, which, by the way, Tom's going to tell you a number that's $28.5 trillion here in a minute, but he'll get to it. Anthropic is paying a lot for SpaceX compute. Anthropic's paying SpaceX $1.25 billion a month through May of 2029 for access to the rocket company's compute capacity. Okay, that's a pretty good customer right there. Musk has massive voting power. Okay, you ready for the voting power? Let me read it to you. Voting rights in stock means each share owned gives the shareholders 1 vote on eligible matters, except the S1 revealed that Musk, who serves as the company's chief executive, CTO, and chairman of the board,
oh my God,
holds 85.1% of combined voting power, which you know what it means? Nobody gets to say shit. Yeah. What he says is going to happen. And Grok's CapEx was higher than Starship's. The S1 laid out capital expenditure by division for the 3-month ending March 31st, $1 billion on space, $1.3 billion on connectivity, $7.7 billion on AI. That means spending on XAI projects like Grok was higher than SpaceX's rocket division spending, which includes the super heavy Starship rockets. The company poured money into AI last year, too. For 2025, space segment spent $3.8 billion, and the AI segment spent $12.7 billion. Tom, how big of a deal is this?
This is huge. This is really big. And everybody is coming out today. There was an analyst, I won't give his name, from the information that came out and said SpaceX is worth $700 billion, not $1.75. And he did all present value on things. People are doing that. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not present value, it's future value. And to talk about, in life, in S1s, there's what's called TAM and SAM. TAM is total available market. Like, let's say Vinny, the merchandise. Let's say merchandise in the United States was a total available market of $10 billion.
I'm writing that down.
And then you go to SAM, served market. But the faith-based market would be $400 million. Make sense? So you always look at it that way. And big TAMs, total available markets, big market opportunities make IPOs go. Well, check this out. The total addressable market in the S1, they said, is $28.5 trillion, which the company claimed, quote, this is the largest actionable total addressable market in human history, with AI making up 93% of the opportunity. So here's SpaceX. What's inside SpaceX? AI is $26 trillion of it, of the total market. Connectivity, Starlink, is $1.6 trillion. So, little Starlink, it's $1.6 trillion.
Yeah, that's enormous.
It's huge. It's would be like the number 5, 6, or 7 company at the end of this year. The space segment, space-enabled solutions, launching stuff for other people, only $370 billion. But check this out. AI from enterprise applications, a TAM of $22.7 trillion. So what they're really saying is it's all about getting the data centers in space where you don't have the cooling, you don't have the water to worry about, because facing the sun, it's ridiculously hot, but 8 inches away facing space, it's ridiculously cold, which guess what? Chips love that. And so this would be, if he gets the data centers up orbiting there, then guess what? He has a massive cost advantage after he gets them up there. And so what you see here, Pat, is just stunning. This is, you called it, I don't know if we have that clip there, but a couple of years ago, Pat called it on where Musk would be going. Rob, do we have that?
Yep.
This is what? This is...
May 7th, 2022.
Play it? I had a mustache that big.
Yeah.
Is there
Should,
audio?
should I
What is
invest in Twitter
valuation?
today? Should I invest?
If you can get it, the rounds are 100
But
million.
where do I say that
if you
he'll be a
can get in
trillionaire?
Right here.
You want to go to specific part where I say he'll be a trillionaire.
Yep, right here.
Okay, go for it.
There's not a lot of people that are sitting on $100 million of
$100 a share.
cash. That's the challenge. Market cap, $38 billion. Okay, here's what I'll tell you. Twitter...
A rollout is a really giant.
So don't worry.
Oh,
It is what it is. So, okay.
Anyway, but we
Adam.
called it there, and now you have.
He'll be a
the
trillionaire.
first
We don't need to
self-
play this clip, but he'll be a trillionaire in no time. This was 4.5 years ago.
He's the first self-made. You know,
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, there's other trillionaires on Earth." Stop. You're talking about sovereigns that are running countries that own the oil under the land. None of them. They were born into it, and the oil was put there by
Pat,
God.
I have to, after Tom came to me, Tom, I concur with your monetary assessment. Your analysis demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of the economic reality of what's going on. I just had to tell him that.
love it.
Because I'm
I love
so...
Elon,
I'm
how big of a
bogged.
deal
Yeah,
is this? How big of a
I
deal
think
is
it's a
this?
huge.
Elon?
I think number one of the main things we're seeing that Tom touched on is the importance and the future of our world. Literally depends on our data centers. That's the big upcoming war. But I think in terms of Elon Musk, we're getting to the point where individuals, like an individual like Elon Musk, can hold more power and more influence than countries, than entire countries. He's building civilization scale infrastructure. This is like back in the day they built the railroads. He's building this to outer space. So it's an entire different mindset. And he's not only revolutionized multiple industries, he's created multiple industries. Everything he went into, people said was an impossible place to go into. When we looked at electric cars, he created that entire industry. People said it wasn't viable. When we look at privatized space travel, people said that wasn't viable. He has taken every single thing he's done and turned it into a mega corporation. I think people fail to realize that the future of our world is going to be heavily influenced by people like this. And again, it all comes down to the data centers. Our ability to compute things is going to be the future. And that's where everyone should be putting their focus.
Adam.
You gave that date, what was it, May of 2022?
Yeah.
2022.
Where do you think his net worth was at that point?
250 billion.
Okay, you want to see something crazy? Rob, I sent you a picture. Where do you think his wealth was in 2020 right after COVID?
Right after COVID?
Like, a few months after COVID.
88
Rob,
billion.
don't show that.
88 billion.
Okay, you're absolutely right. Look,
Yeah.
Rob, the other picture. This is in October of 2020.
Yep.
I'm doing board episodes in my favorite
Yep.
place in the world, Addison. Look where Elon Musk is on that list.
96 billion.
He's the fifth richest person. God, I had to write that whole thing. That was ridiculous. Worth 96 billion, and so a little over 5 years later, he's going to be a trillionaire. And wow, let's just stop right there. But you called it. Respect to you. I think this is going to get real ugly for the guy. And by the way, I'm going to say two different things right here. We need to stop in America, the socialist Marxists, stop villainizing the greatest creators, these billionaires, the people who are changing life as we know it, and villainizing them for becoming billionaires or trillionaires. It's like, what do you want to pay them with? Cookies and ice cream? Like, how, when you do good things, like, what can we give them? Well, they do it for money and wealth so they can do it and buy and build more businesses. Clearly, that's what this guy wants to do. It's like, I don't understand the Marxists, the communists want to come after their money. It's like, that's how they're funding your cities.
Yeah, but look, I mean, that's great to see this on what the guy is doing. What I will say is, how does this apply to you? Okay? How does this apply to you?
That's
the
where I was
individual?
going.
Go ahead.
That's where I was going. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So what I will say is there ever a case, maybe in the history of the world, Pat,
Yeah.
of signal over noise than Elon Musk? This guy is in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Other than Trump, probably one of the most hated men in America, if not in the world. And all he's doing is changing the world. From the baby mama drama, the Trump Epstein tweet, 6 months later, he's on a plane with Trump to China. The way that he's tuned out all the noise and built some of the world's greatest companies. In fact, since COVID, he's on the list of the top 10 companies that have had the biggest profit margins, since 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's done all this with basically creating drama everywhere he goes. He just did a lawsuit. I think he was found guilty or whatever it was with Sam Altman, or he lost that case.
Yeah.
So there's so much noise going on in this
But I want
guy's
to show
life.
this.
Nobody
I
was
got-
found
gonna
guilty.
show you.
That was a
I want to show
civil
this,
case.
Rob. If you want to pull this up, Rob, how does this apply to you? Folks, if you're not somebody that's following exactly what's going on, this is not a sponsorship, okay? Autopilot, what they do is they track what everyone's portfolio is that you can match them. They just released recently, Trump's administration committed $2 billion to quantum computing companies in exchange for equity stakes. And these were the handful of companies they looked at that's surging right now. Okay, just look at that. Inflection, D-Wave Quantum, Rigidity, Global Boundaries, and IBM, because they got the deals. So if you haven't gone and downloaded the app, Autopilot, do yourself a favor and go do that. You can have any of the portfolios that they're following, and you're like not somebody that's a day trader. They do it for you, Rob. Can you go to the other image I sent you? I sent you two of them. This is one of them, and I sent you the other one to pull up. So if you go to their account right now, one of their top performing ones by the Unusual Whales is White House Asset Management. You literally track what they're investing their money into. So there's going to be a lot of wealth being made the next few years. You may as well ride it. You may as well ride it. If you can't afford to put a lot into it, test something out for yourself that you can afford. But get in the mix. This is going to be the amount of, like Anthropic CEO said this is very important for people to be aware of. He said GDP is going to go it's going to skyrocket, but so is unemployment. It's going to go to 10%. During this time when it happens, make sure you're paying attention to your investments. Make sure you're paying attention to what's going to happen to your own investments. The difference could be if you're sitting on $88,000 today, in the next 5 years, that $88,000 could be $172,000, or it could be $388,000, or it could be $694,000, or it could be in the millions. But if you're just somebody that's not paying attention to what's going on in the market, your family is going to be impacted by as well. You love or hate what's going on with AI. You can hate it as much as you want. Make sure at least the investment side work in your favor, and you have the tools. Autopilot may be one of the best ones for you to look at what they're doing today. For the average person, Tom introduced me to this. We made the phone call. I was so impressed by these guys. I got involved myself in the company on wanting to contribute to them. And then I open up an account. I put my own money in it as well, and I'm watching what's going on. I got a lot of different investment portfolios, but it is something where the average person, even somebody, 39% of our audience are business owners. You guys did the survey. 39% of our audience are business owners. You may want to check these guys out. We got something special. Let me tell you guys before I turn it over to a guy that you guys all love. According to the survey we did, you guys love him so much, but I don't know if you love him that much yet, and I'll tell you afterwards why, and I got a challenge for everybody, but I do know you love him a lot. Last time, we did a hat that came out, Faith Over Fear. Do you know how many complaints we got? Because it was a hat that we ordered less than 1,000. I don't know what it was, maybe 500, 700. It went like this. Everyone's like, wait a minute. I want to order more. Gone. And we have to wait 3 months because our shipments takes a while to make them. But today, I don't want that to happen to you. And with that being said, Vinny, share with us what's the latest item that you have available for the audience.
So, Pat, it's the hat that I'm wearing right now, which I'm going to tell you guys right now. It's Here Am I, Send Me. Has a cross here. Has our
You want to take it off so they can see the cross on the side?
So,
and then what's on the back?
I'll do it like this.
Uh-huh.
Boom. I'll take it off. My hair's a little bit messed up. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8 in the back. And Pat, the inspiration comes from Isaiah chapter 6:8, and I know Tom knows this. Isaiah hears the Lord speaking, and he's asking for volunteers, like who's going to go and talk to the people and tell them to change their ways. And Isaiah steps up, and this is what he says. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And then I said, here am I, send me. And this is what this hat stands for, Pat. It stands for answering the call. In a world where everybody stays quiet to protect themselves, this means you are willing to stand up for your faith, for your values, and the truth. Here am I, send me. Basically says, stop waiting for somebody else to do it. You do it, okay? It's saying, I'll speak, I'll lead, and I'll represent Jesus Christ without fear. And this is exactly where this hat says, and this is why it inspired me, and this is what this is about. And Elon actually made a great point, Pat. It's in another context. Remember in The Town where Ben Affleck walks in and his friend's sitting there and he goes, hey, listen, I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. We're going to go and do this and we're going to hurt some people. And he goes, whose car we taking? That means I am ready to go for God, Pat. And as of late, a lot of people have been approaching me and talking, and I feel like the Holy Spirit is literally speaking for, like, I don't even, sometimes I get nervous because I'm like, what am I going to say? In that moment, it's almost like God's like, I got you, just open your mouth and go. So, and I'm going to warn everybody, guys, the last time these things sold out in less than a day, so go to vtmerch.com. I think it's on the front page, and it's in the Faith Over Fear collection. I can't say how much I appreciate you guys for doing it because the word is getting out. God bless you all. I love you.
All right, go to vtmerch.com to place the order and get one for yourself, your peers, your friends, your family, your father, your brother, whoever it may be, and then get the shirt and the sweater to go with it as well and match it. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here. So how AI is forcing McKinsey and its peers to rethink pricing. How AI is forcing McKinsey to rethink pricing. Okay, so what are we talking about here? It is impolite to think management consultants as comparable to call center bots, but remuneration changes at the top of McKinsey and Company shows that it comes to billing, the two are becoming more aligned. McKinsey is under pressure from clients to tie its fees to outcomes achieved.
Wait, what?
Such as lower costs, higher profits, or increased market share, rather than to the hours its consultants send coding advice designed to achieve those ends. Charging for results delivered rather than work done makes revenue less reliable, which helps explain why firms will shunt a bigger share of partners, pay into equity, and husband more cash. The drive to tie fees to outcomes partly reflects the way billable hours are becoming less useful as a yardstick thanks to consultants' own usage of AI for tasks. Other AI-exposed professional services such as lawyers and auditors have also come under pressure to pass their savings as well. So, Tom, why is this such a big deal? Because Jamie Dimon also came out in the same article on the same day and says J.P. Morgan will hire more AI brainiacs and fewer bankers. Rob, if you want to play this clip, go forward.
Use AI. Will it change the structure of jobs? Yes. I think there have been very few announcements that are AI related. I think a lot of companies have too much bureaucracy and they may use AI to cover up the fact that they should never hire them in the first place. But AI is going to change jobs. I don't know. I think it'll reduce some of our jobs down the road. I don't think it'll be all different types of jobs and you have to deploy it at a level like, I think we'll be hiring more AI people and probably less bankers in certain categories, and it'll make them more productive. So when you get up in the morning and you want to interview someone, it'll lay out what I've said in 14 different places. It'll give you questions. Your job will be the same. You'll just be much smarter at how you execute that job. So,
and by the way, the Goldman Sachs Chief Operating Officer, John Waldron, is building what he calls a digital factory floor. He told CNBC that the bank is using AI to automate repetitive and behind-the-scenes chores of finance. He likened the shift to physical robots assembling cars by letting software run what was previously human assembly line. Goldman employees can spend more time face-to-face with customers. Tom, thoughts on this?
This is exactly what's happening. When your billable hours, right, then you're saying that the gate to getting knowledge is time. So I'm your lawyer, Vinny. I mean, you were around lawyers that were in Los Angeles that knew the agents, that knew the opportunities, that knew the laws, knew labor laws.
Okay.
You had to go to them. And they would then charge you 1 hour of time to give an answer that they gave to 20 other comedians who had a contract to do this or that, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, wait a minute, where's the efficiency in that? Well, they're a gatekeeper to the knowledge and the answer. Well, guess what's happening now? Now it's getting easier to find the knowledge, and you need people that know how to manage it, and they're the gatekeepers to strategy. And so what's happening here is you've got clients that are asking McKinsey, hey, what if you pay for results? Rather than charging me for 50 hours of work for 2 associates to put together a PowerPoint, maybe I pay you some sort of fee for that, but then I got an idea. I'll pay you if I'm successful. I'll pay you if it worked. Now, people say, well, wait a minute. That's like a doctor. A doctor doesn't know if you're going to get better. I mean, he's going to tell you what to do, but you got to go home from some sort of injury, and you got to do your therapy. You got to make sure that you don't, go weightlifting too soon. I can't control you. I can give you the prescription. It's not about results. Yeah, but these business people are saying, well, then let's find a way to make a blend here because you're charging me an awful lot of money.
Isn't this kind of like a hedge fund model?
No, it's more like I don't want to pay McKinsey all this money for a 300-page PowerPoint telling me what to do. I'd rather talk to operators and people that
No, but the part where they
results.
basically say they want to get a percentage of the upside.
Well, yeah,
that whole portion.
That some of it's going to go to equity. And by the way,
Okay,
if the compensation goes to equity, what is the only way to raise the profit of the company? To
Gotta make money,
to
exactly.
operate more
Gotta profit.
profitably.
Yeah.
And if the clients are saying, I'm not going to pay you bulk hours, I'll pay you for results, then the path to profitability is actually to give advice that
Well,
works.
I have a
So there you have it.
that.
I'll give you a quick. We just helped somebody, Bet David Consulting, last week. They said, "Hey, how can I use AI for this or this?" We said, "Hey, look, AI will solve chores for you. It'll help processes happen faster." And this guy has to answer bids from the county and the state. I'm not going to mention where or what it was, but he said, "How can I use it?" And we helped him take Perplexity and read the newspapers and give him once a week the list of new bids. And he said, "You just saved me 3 hours when, listen to what Pat read in this article. Now I can go in front of those people and present myself and my company and make the relationship, because I didn't spend 3 hours just searching through for where are the new bids. Perplexity does the chore. Hey, here's the new bids this week. Oh, great. I'm going to go that one. He says, I have 2 more meetings this week and I saved 3 hours. Bingo. That's how AI. And so it's coming. And McKinsey, you know what? McKinsey and big time law firms,
Adam.
old model.
I've got a completely different perspective, not necessarily the McKinsey, but back to the college thing, and it's basically how fast things are changing. But some things will stay the same. We talked, I believe, on Friday about a return to humanity, right? So right now it's college graduation season. So respect to you, class of 2026. You're graduating at an interesting time of life where AI is now the biggest culprit and being booed more than anything. But young people who are graduating college are using AI more than anybody. So riddle me that. But I was actually, remember our old friend John Stossel, he did this expose on, is college even worth it anymore? And he cites this book called The Case Against Education, basically saying that is it a waste of time and money? And one of the data pieces that they found out was that students go to college, and after 4 years, 45% of students show no significant improvement in knowledge and in wisdom. Because we know that education, a lot of times, does not equal wisdom or actual real life knowledge. And then if you just want to go more stats, more Tom type stuff, unemployment rate is 4.3% right now. College graduates are almost 6%. So they also said that college graduates are 25% less likely to be employed than the average American worker. But here's some good news. Here's what I think. You know, what's the biggest knock on college other than debt? Other than debt, what do they say? Go to college. Because all you do is party. You know, all it is you're going for the, what do they call it? The college experience. But I'll tell you what, maybe, what if that's a good thing at this point? Because what's happening with college, what's happening with MBAs is they're being commoditized. Hey, listen, why do you need to go to school and spend $250,000 when you can just chat GPT all your knowledge? Because we're no longer living in the information phase of life, information age, we're in the validation phase. As long as you understand what the truth is, then you'll be okay. But here's what I think. And they said this in this Jamie Dimon article. He said, employees who were previously doing the human assembly line, Goldman Sachs employees, will now spend more time face-to-face with the customer. So what does that mean? Maybe, just maybe, all your partying in college, all the cool guy stuff you were doing, extracurricular activities, maybe that is what might make you more valuable to a company and to an organization other than your just random degree that you got. So could it be that the college experience, not the debt and the wisdom that you thought you were getting, interacting with, as you call it, social capital, interacting with people,
but you know,
that might be your best bet.
You're saying that. Corporations disagree with you. Corporations are saying that's not what they're hiring for. If you read that article a little bit deeper, it'll tell you how, you know, Google, Facebook, Meta, and Amazon, they're no longer hiring for that. They don't value that the way they did maybe before.
Well, those are all tech companies, right?
But I'll tell you a few things on the consulting side, on why the traditional consulting side is dead but they'll figure it out. McKinsey's going to figure it out. McKinsey came out, their legacy is with James McKinsey and Marvin Bower. These guys have solved a lot of big problems. What I will tell you the market's going to go through as well as the following. When I talk to somebody who is giving me advice on life, okay, and here's what I think you should do with your six-pack, to get a six-pack. First thing I want to do is what? Pull up your shirt. Yeah, I'm not taking advice from you on six-pack. Okay?
Gotcha.
Yeah, here's the advice on how to create wealth. Okay, show me how much money. A guy comes to me at this daddy-daughter dance, and this guy's like, I want to help. Why are you having such a hard time hiring 150 people in your company? I said, what do you mean? I said, I need 150 people next 90 days. And he says, you probably don't have the right HR team. And this one, I'm like, I'm done with this guy just talking. He's one of the guys that always comes up. He just wants to talk and says, you should hire me as a consulting firm. I said, really? Yeah. I said, tell me, what's the most employees you ever hired? What's your biggest team you ever had that you hired? Oh, I 20 people. Oh, really? Yeah. I said, okay. How big is your consultant? Why don't you share with me what your dollars are last year? What was your revenue last year? That's private. No, it's not. I said, McKinsey's willing to share what they did last year. It's public. I said, you're so good at what you do. Tell me your numbers. The more the conversation went, I said, buddy, I don't want to have this conversation with you right now. You know what card he pulled on me? He says, we're two Christian men. Let's try to solve this together. I said, buddy, this is not about that. I'm like, I just don't want to talk to you right now about the advice you're giving me.
About a dance.
But if you're somebody that built something you sold, if you're somebody that built a podcast, you built Vinny, congratulations to Vitamin Comedy, just crossed 1 million subs, right?
Thank you.
Very big deal, right? You're somebody that taught in schools and universities, and you did good for yourself. You're somebody that, if you have moral authority, people want to pay for that. That's why I think this system isn't working, because people want to talk to expert operators. They don't want to just talk to somebody that's just like, hey, I got an MBA. Let me tell you what you need to do with your business. Like, no, have you ever built something?
Yeah.
Have you ever sold something? So I think the consulting challenge is going to be who's giving the advice and what type of success have they had in their lives. I think that's the challenge. We officially have our speakers for the Vault Conference finalized. And I waited till the last one. And the last one, I literally got the confirmation last night at 8 p.m., 7 p.m.-ish, when I got the text that we're done. And I wanted to make sure we put an event together where we talk about everything that's going on with AI, the good, bad, the ugly, and how to leverage it. One of the biggest names on AI we're bringing, you're going to know who he is. Many of you will. I wanted to talk about the importance of having running mates, because for me, winning at the highest level, you need a running mate. Tom is a running mate. You go faster when you find your running mate. So I brought two people that ran together and won multiple championships together. And then I wanted to bring somebody that your sons, a lot of you guys are bringing their sons and their kids on social media to be able to know how to build a brand. Maybe the guy that was able to do this at the highest level and who he's one of the biggest names right now on social media, who's very successful, made a lot of money as well. And last but not least, one of the biggest podcasters in the world who does it in a way that's very different than everybody else. And he's killing it. He's got almost 20 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. With that being said, these are the speakers at the Vault Conference 2026, MGM Grand Arena. Go ahead, Rob. The beautiful thing about these events, you know how quickly it goes? Like this. Is everybody ready to get started?
I've helped over 10,000 business owners grow and scale their companies. I'm just passionate about watching entrepreneurs create great business.
When you get guys like Jerry Rice, that was his work ethic.
We were able to do some great things on the football field.
Wow. The single most important trait I had was a healthy dose of delusion.
Stephen Bartlett.
And delusion is sometimes also referred to as self-belief.
Coming from UK.
When I can do something that I love, that is good for business, and I can make content out of, that's my trifecta.
That's so cool.
That's a great lineup.
Good for you, Logan.
It's a
Thanks for being a part of this.
Phenomenal lineup. Vault Conference, MGM Grand Arena. If you haven't yet registered, listen, CO tickets, which there's only 500 of, less than 100 left. Go to vault2026.com, vault2026.com. Get your tickets. We have companies that are bringing, one company from France is bringing 500 of their sales reps. From France. Did you hear what I just said?
Oui, oui.
From France. Oui, oui. Yes. They bring in so some of you guys are on the sales team. You have your executive team. A lot of guys bring their family, their partners. And also with some of you that want to have your kids learning on how to create content the way that Logan and Jake Paul have, and they became who they are today with their businesses, you may want to bring your kids as well. So go to vault2026.com. Wow. Get registered. We cannot wait to see you. It'll be the greatest Vault conference we've ever had. Cannot wait to see everybody there. Okay.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here. The other day I'm watching I was watching either a playoff game or something, and then I saw Barkley come up. And Barkley was doing a GLP-1 commercial. I'm like, Charles Barkley, I've seen the Serena Williams one for only $10 or whatever, so it's more of a money ad that she does, and she's lost a lot of weight. But then I saw Barkley, and I saw the numbers reported that Barkley had lost, he went from 360 pounds to weighing 352 pounds to 267. He's lost 85 pounds using this product on Mounjaro, which is like a form of a GLP-1, okay? And he says, I know GLP-1s are effective. I witnessed it myself. The difficult part was obtaining medication. He wants to get back to his playing days, which, by the way, he looks great. He's 267 pounds today. Playing days was 250. And then I had Umberto and Rob pull up some stats on obesity and being overweight. And I saw the video you posted of New York back in 1920 versus today. Rob, I don't know if you have that clip or not. And this is such a great video of comparing what America looked like in 1920. Well, it's overlapping because he's speaking on it. So if you can find another one, Rob will show it. It's just you type in on X, New York 1920 versus today. And the numbers we pulled up is in 1920, only 3% of Americans were obese. Today, it's 41%. Why did we get so fat in America?
It's over 70% obese and overweight, Pat. Over 70% obese and overweight. So
that's according to CDC, by the way, that number you're giving.
That's according to CDC. And so this is crazy. And it's so interesting because I think that more than anything, the GLP-1 conversation, Mounjaro is a dual agonist, so it's GLP-1 and GIP. It's also called tirzepatide. These medications work, but the fact that they work so well, I think, is a clarion call to this idea that, like, how did we get so fat? This question you're asking. They partially ameliorate a problem that did not exist 100 years ago. You look at New York, we were not fat. And so I think that this is a clear indication that our food supply has just become so badly tainted. And Oprah's talked about this. She had a very viral clip on The View. Mm-hmm. I think it was from 2024 or 2025, where she said, I have the fat gene, which is not true. There's no such thing as a fat gene. But what there is something called food noise. This idea, and I think poor Oprah didn't realize this. She used to promote Weight Watchers, right? So she was promoting low quality food in low calorie packets. When we are eating this tainted food that is full of all these ingredients that no one can pronounce, your great-grandmother, my great-grandmother wouldn't recognize these food ingredients. These food ingredients are literally poisoning our brains, the satiety centers in the hypothalamus of our brains, and we cannot stop eating. And so in some ways, these GLP-1s, Mounjaro, Ozempic, and retatrutide, which is a triple agonist, they sort of address this food noise, the poisoning of our brains by the food. But there are things to think about here. There are potential downsides to these medications also. But for me, the biggest thing this conversation around Ozempic, Mounjaro, and retatrutide says is, how did we get so poisoned by our food? If we need a medication to actually calm the food noise, to partially reverse the complete destruction of our satiety that these engineered foods have caused, can't we just talk about going back to simple foods? Because in the early 1900s, most of what we ate were single ingredient foods. We talked about this on the last podcast. What are single ingredient foods? Beef, chicken, fish, pork, right? Lettuce, apples, celery. These are cheese, milk. These are single ingredient foods. It is virtually impossible to get fat or stay fat eating those foods. It is very...
Even if you overeat.
it's very difficult to overeat those foods because our body has a programmed satiety mechanism in our brain that is hundreds of thousands of years old. It's very difficult to overeat steak and boiled potatoes. It's very difficult to overeat steak and lettuce. It's very difficult to overeat chicken and avocado. You will get a very clear satiety signal and you're just not interested in eating.
So then let me ask you this question. I read a book called Ageless Man. And I don't know if you've heard of this book, Ageless Man, where it talks about in the book that men with lower testosterone is worse for their health than higher testosterone. And they did a test on rats, or I don't know, mouse, certain testing they did, giving them testosterone and seeing how they would live longer, ageless men. So the argument then becomes, you're better off being on TRT than not being on TRT. Okay, there's a benefit to it. Some people are now sitting there saying, okay, Charles Barkley, he's been dealing with weight for a while. Is he healthier, continuing to live his lifestyle, doesn't change anything, he stays at 352, doesn't use GLP-1, or is he better off using GLP-1, dropping to 267, he's carrying 85 pounds less fat? What's a better decision for a guy like Barkley?
It's almost certainly using the GLP-1.
So in this case, it's a good case to use it.
It's a good case to use it, provided that Charles won't change his diet, right? And we can talk about the long-term consequences of using that GLP-1, potentially. But yeah, there is a use case for these medications, unquestionably. In some ways, like I said, they probably reverse or help address the poisoning of our brains that's been going on by our food system. The first choice that I would have for Charles is, can we just get you a chef to cook you delicious food that's single...
He can afford that.
Yeah, to get you single ingredient foods all the time. Because that, I believe, is going to lead to better long-term weight loss. One of the first issues I have with these GLPs is you're probably on them for life. So if Charles stops the GLP-1, the research is pretty clear that he's going to regain the weight within 1 to 2 years. Almost all of it, and sometimes more. And there's
Why is that?
Because when you use the GLP-1s, there are changes that happen in the body that don't catch up to the changes that you're making with food. So when you're using a GLP-1, it creates satiety. There are some potentially beneficial metabolic effects of these medications, but when you stop it, you're going to go back to eating the food you were eating before because you haven't made lifestyle changes. You haven't developed discipline. You haven't understood how to make the right food choices. And your eating habits are going to outpace your metabolism because these GLPs will slow down your metabolism because you're eating less food. And so you've lost fat. You've also lost muscle mass. Muscle mass is positive for our metabolism. Muscle mass burns calories when we're sitting here having a podcast. That's what you want. And so if you're on a GLP-1, you have to be very careful you don't lose too much muscle mass by continuing to exercise, continuing to eat enough protein. But when you stop it, the eating habits that you never fixed will outpace the metabolism that's been changed by the GLPs. There's a study that came out saying that when you stop a GLP-1, you regain the weight 4 times faster than if you stopped exercise. 4 times faster. So this is the problem. And so it's great for the pharmaceutical companies. I think that they say Mounjaro, tirzepatide, is the #1 selling drug in the world now.
Wow.
And I think people are suggesting that retatrutide, which is the triple agonist, it's not FDA cleared yet, but probably will obtain FDA clearance in 2027, will be the best-selling drug in the world almost immediately. And so here we are with very widely used drugs that people may need to be on for life to maintain the, quote, benefits. That's a little concerning because people run into GI side effects, people can run into other side effects, ocular side effects, and then what do you do if you cannot continue? The discontinuation rate of these drugs is not insignificant because people do run into side effects. So is it a short-term fix? Potentially. Does it have side effects? Yes. They're fairly safe drugs on balance. They're not perfect. They're fairly safe. But I want people to understand that when you take these drugs, you are essentially committing yourself to a lifelong use of the drug, which is always a little bit concerning for us, right? And there is another way, which is, like we said, humans have eaten single ingredient foods or foods that your great grandmother would recognize the label for hundreds of thousands of years. Try getting fat on chicken breast and avocado. It doesn't happen.
Regular food, but that's boring, right? That's slow. That's come on, Paul. I don't have the time for that. I would much rather take the shortcut. 10 million people, according to JP Morgan Chase, are using GLP-1s 2025. They're guesstimating it's going to be 25 million by 2030, 4 years from now. And then on top of that, the cost is what, $1,200 a month, they say, give or take. If you have insurance, of course, it's a different story. But $1,200. So the average person to do $1,200 a month, and you'll need to be on it for, depending, let's just say it's a year program, that's $15,000. That's a big cost to a lot of different people. So some of these insurance companies are now adding it to it. So then the question becomes, what is it? Is it really, when I talk to people who use it, all it does is, it tells you you're not hungry. Is that really all it does?
It does a few more things than that. It does.
It's a diabetes drug. It's not like it was.
It's also a diabetes drug.
Right.
They're also using it for addictions. It's being studied for addictions, which is a very interesting sort of sidebar, because the GLP-1 receptors do occur in the pleasure pathways in the brain. So there's a lot of complex names here: VTA, ventral tegmental area, nucleus accumbens. These are the pleasure pathways in our brain that are activated with nicotine, with alcohol, with romance, sex, learning. And so I think that the next use we'll see for these medications is with addictions. But then there's another sort of corollary conversation. And this is perhaps not the most important part of the GLP-1 conversation, but it is relevant for some people. That is it possible that if you use these medications, it will affect your ability to make new relationships, fall in love, and desire? And this is, at this point, it's purely anecdotal, but the conversations on X are very compelling.
What does that mean? What does that have to do with relationships?
Well, because if you're overstimulating, so GLP-1 agonists, if you're overstimulating the GLP-1 receptors in the pleasure pathways in the brain, the VTA, the nucleus accumbens, are you blunting your ability? Just like they're going to be effective for addictions, they sort of decrease the food reward, and they're going to decrease the reward of alcohol. They decrease the reward of smoking and potentially other addictive drugs. Are they going to decrease the normal pleasure pathways that are activated when you fall in love with someone, when you have desire? This is a concern. Again, I don't think this is the primary conversation, but this is the corollary conversation of, maybe it's not a good thing to be on these for the rest of our lives. And we don't know. I want to be very clear. We don't know the answer to this. But if you look on
started 2005, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. GLP-1's first one that was FDA approved was sold in 2005. So we only have 20 years of data on this.
That's for Ozempic, for semaglutide, and Mounjaro is very more recent, and retatrutide has never been approved by the FDA. So we don't even have long-term data on retatrutide.
Is it on track to get?
It is.
Okay.
It is 2027. Yes. So for someone like Charles Barkley, great example. Probably on balance, these are positive if he can't make lifestyle changes. But what about the millions of young men who are at 15% body fat and could just eat single ingredient foods, but are going to take retatrutide or tirzepatide to get down to 11%, to look shredded? Mm-hmm. Is it going to affect relationships? Is it going to affect how we relate to people? It's a really compelling question, because the neurobiological mechanisms in our brain are there. And if you look on X, there are a lot of these threads. People are saying, I was at a conversation, I just saw it last night. You can pull it up on X. I don't know the account. I think it's Tyler Durden's account. It's this guy, this eponymous account from Fight Club. And he was just saying, I was at dinner the other day and people were saying that they're falling out of love on Ozempic, and that it was like over 1 million impressions or something. It was really interesting that when you put that out there, people are actually saying, this happened to me. Now, again, there are lots of cases where...
Can you pull that up? I'm actually curious to know the comment section on what they said, if you find that. Was that recently?
Yeah, I just saw it last night, so it's got to be pretty recent on his account. We can find it. I would say, search for Tyler Durden, falling out of love, GLP-1s or something. Yeah.
But keep going. Yeah. I'm tracking. So falling out of love.
And there's been a lot of theorizing around this just because of these neurobiological preserved pathways in the brain. So who knows here, right? Who knows? But I think that my point with Ozempic, Mounjaro, tirzepatide is there is another way, right? And I wish I could have told this to Oprah 15, 20 years ago. There is another way to do this, and it goes back to something that's not sexy, that's a little bit easier, that requires discipline, but that works longer term, which is, hey, simple, single ingredient foods. This is the way. Yes.
Hearing some interesting stories from friends who have friends taking peptides, falling completely out of love overnight with wives and partners. Go a little bit lower. You're not permitted to comment this post if you failed the COVID IQ test, the rule of 5.5 billion cheers. Go lower. Let's see if people are saying it this stem. Keep going lower. Yeah, that's interesting to be thinking about that.
Kills enjoyment. And by peptides, he's talking about GLP-1s here, because those are the peptides that are affecting the enjoyment in the ventral tegmental area, the nucleus accumbens. And it's something we don't know for sure, but it's very concerning.
Could it be that it's, because, every time there's something, there's fear porn. Could it be the fact that you're on GLP-1s, if you're 350 pounds and you don't make a lot of money and you're not that successful, odds are your wife is probably close to 350-pound type of a person. I don't know if I'm being a prick here. I'm just saying statistically. Unless if you're Charles Barkley, you're famous, you're going to get any girl you want for the most part. But odds are you're not dating somebody as attractive as you. So then all of a sudden you get on GLP-1s and Ozempic, and you lose 50, 60, 70 pounds. And let's just say you were 220, now you're at 150. You look amazing. People are now looking at you. Maybe it's not that you're fallen out of love with your spouse. Maybe you now have options you didn't have before.
It's very possible. And there certainly are situations where both people in the relationship get on these medications, both people become more attractive, and probably the relationship gets better. But I just think it's a really interesting biological mechanism in the brain with known neurological pathways. And you can look it up too. These medications do have effects for addiction. So there's something going on with
no question about
pleasure
that.
pathway.
No question about that.
And there's no biological free lunch pad. And that's just a little note of caution that I want to add to these, a little asterisk I want to add to these medications. No biological free lunch. When people are saying retatrutide is the best thing since sliced bread, I'm thinking just wait, because there's no biological free lunch.
Yeah. Well, we'll see that part on what's going to happen. The reality of it is, in U.S., I think the Ozempic product by itself plus the diabetes combined together is a $40 to an $80 billion industry right now. And they're saying it's going to get to $100 to $200 billion by 2030, 2035. So when you see a number like that, this brings me up to the next question. Last year, Big Pharma spent some $7 billion on advertising. And one of the conversations you and I had, as well as I had with Bobby, was with Maha, and when he would get in, there you go, $7 billion in 2025, Big Pharma. That's a lot of money. So that money is going to media, channels, CNN, everybody's get Fox, NBC, they're all getting a part of that money. But one of the things we discussed was there's only 2 countries in the world that allow this. It's us and New Zealand. That, Maha would possibly work on eliminating Big Pharma from being able to advertise on TV. How much progress have you guys made on that?
I don't think there's been much progress on that, unfortunately.
Why do you think that is?
Well, you talked about it before, because if you eliminate the pharmaceutical ad revenue from television stations, you're going to see all the television stations collapse. We can look up the amount of money spent we're looking at it right now, but how much of any television station, any news channel is pharmaceutical ads? It's a lot today.
I started off with the first story being Barkley because I saw it on an ad.
Yeah.
So if I don't see that on ad, I don't know if I know that Barkley lost weight. What does it say, Rob?
13.1% of all national linear TV ad spends were from Big Pharma in Q3.
13%.
Pharma spending grew to 16% by 2025. Yeah, well, it's a big deal. A lot of ads.
What's the likelihood that they'll get it done? Or this is something that's probably not going to get done?
I don't see it happening.
Okay.
It's too close to home, It's too close to home. I can't see it. The lobby is too strong. And again, I would love to see it happen. A lot of people watch television. A lot of people are influenced by these ads. I don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Okay.
Hey, guys, I am Paul Saladino. You can find me on Manect if you have any questions about diet, health, recovering from chronic illness or autoimmune disease. I'm excited to connect with you guys all there, and I'll see you in there.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here. A story comes out by Wall Street Journal, Rob. I don't know if you have it in here or not. I don't think you do. No, I didn't ask you to put it in there. So, story comes out by Wall Street Journal saying MBAs are on a fire sale. Okay, MBAs, Masters in Business Administration, are on a fire sale. Okay, fire sale. Now, when you read this article, Rob, I don't know if you have all the way down to go through the article. If it's not going to allow you, it does allow you. Okay. Few things you need to know about the story. More business schools are giving steep discounts on tuition that can save students up to $50,000 or tens of thousands of dollars. So people are like, why are MBA programs getting cheaper and cheaper? Keep going lower and see what's happening here. Okay, keep going lower to the stats. Purdue University, right there, Rob. Please go a little bit up, one paragraph up. Purdue Mitchell Daniels School of Business is knocking 40% off its tuition for next fall, okay? Which makes the 48 credit hour program $36,000 for out-of-state students, down from $60,000, okay? Then UC Irvine, tuition is down 38% from $48,000 to $30,000. If you go a little bit lower, there's more stories. Johns Hopkins Carey Business School is given a 50% scholarship on graduates from a Maryland college this spring and enter on one of specialized master's program. So they're also going down 50%. Now, why is this? Why are they doing this? Here's a couple things they've noticed. They've noticed that Google, Amazon, Apple are no longer hiring MBA program students like they did before. On top of that, McKinsey, that would hire 71, I think it was from Chicago Booth of School, now they're down to 33. Stay on that article, Rob, if you could. Go back to the article you're on. This continues to go. If you go a little bit lower, couple of the stats that I really liked in this article, Rob, if you go lower, is this one here. The number of graduate students in management who receive financial assistance has been soaring. Watch this. Last year was 47%. 47% of incoming students are receiving merit-based scholarships, up from 32% a decade ago, according to Graduate Management Admissions Council, which, by the way, Tom said something very interesting 2 weeks ago. Did you see the article that came out that said more students are getting A's today than ever before? I don't know if you saw that article. Everyone's getting A's. Oh, my God, we're getting smarter. No, we're not. It's these language learning models. But guess what number dropped? Grades went up, but guess what test scores dropped? Go ahead, Tom.
National test scores and SATs.
So let me get this straight. So we're getting better GPAs, but our SAT scores are dropping. So what does that tell you?
You can't use ChatGPT and SAT.
You cannot use ChatGPT while you're taking these tests.
SAT,
so
not yet.
You want to go a little bit lower.
But you feel really good in your little home classroom.
Yeah. But if you go a little bit lower, Rob, keep going lower, keep going lower, keep going. Is that it? Oh, my God. There were so many great stats about this MBA program, what's going on. Tom, your thoughts when you see this, MBAs. I have 4 kids. You got a couple of them. We just had dinner with my niece who got her MBA program. She gave a not MBA program. She got valedictorian. She gave a phenomenal speech at the school's valedictorian, which shout out to Dylan for screaming the way he was screaming. Everybody was screaming to make sure they knew who was the most special person in that room to us. But MBAs, a parent is asking, Tom, is it worth for me to spend $250,000 to send my kid to get an MBA program for 2 years?
Not normally. $250,000. Look, the MBA programs have come up in price and they've gone parabolic. They've gone crazy. And over the last 15 years, if you look at the cost of tuition. And what happened was the student loans are available. So I could go get student loans to get my MBA, number one. And with getting that student loan, now, guess what? It's like the government's almost underwriting the high cost from the school. So if the government makes it easier, Vinny, for me to get a student loan and you're the college, what's your incentive to be competitive on price? It's not. Just go get a student loan.
Yeah,
just go get a student loan.
Pay for it.
And then they find out what happens is terrible. So prices have been uncontrolled, number one. But the elite MBA schools used to get these big signing bonuses on Wall Street, but now we're hearing that some of those are getting pulled back. Now, some of these kids are coming in for financial aid, and now guess what's happening? The schools are having to look at it. Wow, a lot of these kids are applying for financial aid. How are we going to do this? So they would rather sell something for $60,000 a year than sell nothing with the price on the window that said $85,000 a year. So that's one of the things that's happening. And also, to people that are out there, look, it's why are you getting the MBA and what are you putting inside it? There are programs, and I'm not going to pimp for any of them now by mentioning the schools, but there are schools right now. No, what I mean is, if I mention a school, then people are going to say I'm trying to say something. It's not. Some of the MBA programs, MBA programs out there, what they're doing is they're saying, hey, you'll have the MBA courses will be this, but some of the business operation courses will be replaced by option courses, and option courses in AI, management of the AI systems. See, that's what's going on. And so I think some of that is happening is good. But right now we are seeing that the gold rush for MBAs is slowing down, and the economic impact is coming back down on the schools.
By the way,
and
no
they're having
joke.
a discount.
I really thought you were about to go into Drew Down, the song. I don't know if you remember or not.
Of course.
Drew Down, Pimp of the Year. Do you remember that song? Or,
What do you mean?
Tom's-
He was the pimp of the year.
Shoot.
No.
Tom, Biz, Doc.
So let me give you a couple
Drew
of
and I
stats.
used to sit in the front row at the Knicks games, but I never remember talking about this.
Well, Drew Down was, if you know Drew Down, you had some good memories in your life if you listened to him. Let me give you some crazy stats.
And it was
Tom.
West Coast. We always got
Tom.
heat when we were at the Knicks games because all the West Coast
You ready for
people
this,
saying,
gangster?
What are you doing here,
Tom,
man?
Thug Life. Let me share this with you. You ready for this?
Gang, gang.
Tom, check this out. 21% of Duke. Can you give me the best MBA grad degrees you can get? What schools can I get MBA degrees from? That's
Go to
very
Wharton,
impressive.
Wharton,
Wharton,
in,
right?
Pennsylvania, Penn.
Okay.
So it's
anything Harvard next to it, anything Yale next to it, anything MIT next to it.
Tom, go ahead.
There they are right there.
Wharton,
These are the five.
Shout out
HBS,
to Tufts
Tufts.
these days.
Okay.
Stanford, anything Stanford.
All right, so check this out. Let me give you stats.
Florida State.
21% of Duke.
Yeah, there they are, number 85.
21% of Duke MBA graduates were still seeking employment 3 months after graduating. So this is Duke. Duke is like a top school. Look at Michigan. 15% of University of Michigan MBA grads still looking for a job 3 months after getting their degrees.
That does mean 85% got jobs.
That's right. So, but 15% means didn't. Harvard, 20% of their 2023 grads seeking jobs 3 months later. You know what that 20% is of Harvard? You know what that number was, Tom, in 2021? 8%. 92% had jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It went from 8% to 20%. And then if you go a little bit deeper with the numbers, it also breaks down what the average salary is if you get an MBA, what kind of money you can make. This is what I think is going to be happening. This is my opinion long-term of what's going to happen with education, Vinny. You ready? Tom, I think what will happen with education is companies will become universities, okay? The other day, let me tell you what happened. Our BDC team sat down with our finance team, and our finance team went through what exactly looks like to look at a balance sheet. New recruits that are coming to the consulting firms are going through the balance sheet. Here's what it's looked like. And then our VP of Finance, Casey, sat down and went through the whole thing with our finance department. You're going to see companies start off an MBA program. So I'm going to come to a company, and guess who becomes your professor? Tom Ellsworth's your professor once a week or once a day for 1 hour.
Big pimpin'.
No, but of course, with good music. But Tom is your professor, right? Tom, what did you do today at 7 o'clock in the morning on Memorial Day, not Labor Day? What did you do this morning?
An elite group of 8 of our sales reps.
Can you just give their first names, please?
Yeah, it was Brandon, Taylor, Antonio, Anthony, Daniel, Luis. They're saying, hey, we're going to be here today because we're working on things. And maybe Memorial Day, we're going to respect it.
Tom, on Memorial Day morning, they ask if you're still going to have their 7 a.m. meeting with them. Now, here's a question.
Exactly right.
What did you cover with them this morning? What was the discussion?
Oh, we covered core. We covered the five line P&L a little bit more, and we also covered the psychology of what owners are going through in this economy and what they're probably thinking and what they want to know, where they want to go. And then we took from around the room, what are you hearing, and then their own personal confidence in presenting it.
You know what's going to happen, Vinny? So say you're working for Valuation, and we offer an MBA program internally, okay? We can call it whatever we want. And if you go there and you finish it within the company, one, higher raises, higher promotions, you're indoctrinated in the culture of the company, you're learning what we're doing, we're able to teach you with the values and principles that we have. I think these schools are starting to realize there's a massive disruption coming around the corner. Would you rather learn from a professor that's not an operator, or would you rather learn from a Tom?
Tom, 1,000%.
1,000%.
Who also was a professor.
That's right. So,
He's a doctor of business.
But I think that's the direction we're going to. We officially have our speakers for the Vault Conference finalized. And I waited to the last one. And the last one, I literally got the confirmation last night at 8 p.m., 7 p.m.-ish, when I got the text that we're done. And I wanted to make sure we put an event together where we talk about everything that's going on with AI, the good, bad, the ugly, and how to leverage it. One of the biggest names on AI we're bringing there, you're going to know who he is. Many of you will. I wanted to talk about the importance of having running mates, because for me, winning at the highest level, you need a running mate. Tom is a running mate. You go faster when you find your running mate. So I brought 2 people that ran together and won multiple championships together. And then I wanted to bring somebody that your sons, a lot of you guys are bringing their sons and their kids on social media to be able to know how to build a brand. Maybe the guy that was able to do this at the highest level and he's one of the biggest names right now on social media, who's very successful, made a lot of money as well. And last but not least, one of the biggest podcasters in the world who does it in a way that's very different than everybody else, and he's killing it. He's got almost 20 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. With that being said, these are the speakers at the Vault Conference 2026, MGM Grand Arena. Go ahead, Rob. The beautiful thing about these events, you know how quickly it goes? Like this. Is everybody ready to get started?
I've helped over 10,000 business owners grow and scale their companies. I'm just passionate about watching entrepreneurs create great business.
When you get guys like Jerry Rice, that was his work ethic.
We were able to do some great things on the football field.
Wow.
The single most important trait I had was a healthy dose of delusion.
Stephen Bartlett.
And that delusion is sometimes also referred to as self-belief.
Coming from UK.
When I can do something that I love,
and at least
that is good for
Get
business,
out of here, man.
and I can make content out of, that's my trifecta.
That's so cool.
That's a great lineup.
Good for you, Logan.
It's a
Thanks for being a part of this.
phenomenal lineup. Vault Conference, MGM Grand Arena. If you haven't yet registered, listen, CO tickets, which there's only 500 of, less than 100 left. Go to vault2026.com, vault2026.com. Get your tickets. We have companies that are bringing, one company from France is bringing 500 of their sales reps from France. Did you hear what I just said?
Oui.
From France. Oui. Yes. They're bringing so some of you guys are on the sales team. You have your executive team. A lot of guys bring their family, their partners. And also with some of you that want to have your kids learning on how to create content the way that Logan and Jake Paul have, and they became who they are today with their businesses, you may want to bring your kids as well. So go to vault2026.com, get registered. We cannot wait to see you. It'll be the greatest Vault Conference we've ever had. Cannot wait to see everybody there. Okay. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here. Kevin Warsh being the sworn in. Apparently, it was the closest one. A lot of issues, a lot of challenges getting into it as they were going back and forth. But it's official. Rob, is this the president announcing it?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
I just turned on the television. I want to see how the stock market's doing today. Stock market's up 600 points. That means they like you. If they didn't like you.
I love when people like you. That's him. Looks like a young guy, man.
It's actually up to 50,702. So that's as of about 12 minutes ago. Now, who knows? But I think it can only go up. I think with you, it's only going to go up. That was a number that nobody thought was reachable during my entire 4 years.
You know
if
how much
you look at some of the great pundits.
You know what he just did?
They said,
I don't know if you know what he just did.
What?
Let it keep playing, Rob.
That would be impossible during the 4 years, but sometime after, we hit it in the first year, but now we're really hitting it.
This guy is so good.
Think of it.
He's so funny and so good what he just did.
And S&P likewise set a new record today. They both set new records today,
and
boy, that's something good. But you're going to bring.
You can pause it, right? How great the Dow is doing, and he's saying it's just going to go up with you. What is? You know what he's saying?
That I'm great.
No,
Look at me.
not at all. No, not at all. What he's saying to him is, you better lower the rates.
Yeah. In front of everybody.
That's what he's saying. And look at his face. He's kind of like, shit. He know. By the way, what do you think is the only place this relationship can go moving forward the next 2 years?
Down,
Good or
down,
bad?
down,
It's only down.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is the happiest these
Ever.
two are going
By
to be
far.
the next 2 years.
Ever.
After this,
It's a wrap. He's going to say he's the worst guy he's ever met in his life.
Well, he has to own this. But by the way,
Powell.
Who picked Powell?
That's right. Trump did.
So
this is back to back. So Tom, tell us why this is a big deal. And the tough part is, even Tom is saying that the poor guy is going to have to raise the rates if inflation goes the way it's going, not even lower the rates. Go ahead, Tom.
Right. There's all kinds of false flags and assumption here. So, part one, this guy came out of the Senate Banking Committee 13-11. That was the vote in committee, Pat, that this guy should go out to a vote on the floor to be on the Fed. 2 votes out of committee. Then they voted 55-45, Pat. Isn't that amazing? That's tight. Do you know what Jerome Powell was when he was put in under Biden? 84-13. The whole Senate, like bipartisan, was there. The only Democrat this guy got was Fetterman. Then when Powell was that member of Trump 84-13, excuse me, and then under Biden, Powell renewed at 80-19. You go back to people like Alan Greenspan, 91-7. We have politicized the Fed to the point that now it's on party lines. And they held this up because they didn't like Trump. That's my first point, is to take a look at what was going on here. But the second thing is, let me explain. He is a supply side guy. And a supply side guy are the people that believe the economy should be enabled by access to inexpensive capital. So, Vinny, you could go build the little factory you want to build, to build a garment factory to make Angry Patriot hats and shirts.
Thank you.
Supply-siders say, how do I make it so that everything from the Small Business Administration to bank loans for little companies that be there so you can go build? Whereas the Keynesians, those are the ones that are in the Fed right now. And the Fed is overrun by Keynesians who think that the government should control the demand by all the levers that it's pushing. And I don't feel that way. This guy just walked into the lion's den, and he is in there going to get it back. And there is a difference between people say, inflation is up, we should raise the rates. No, inflation is not up. We have supply spikes that are raising prices, but those are not pure signs that the whole economy's got an inflation problem. We have a supply spike. Which way? Down in oil and everything that oil becomes. Gasoline, heating for your home, not as important in the summer, and jet fuel. So guess what? Airline tickets go up, everything that goes up. Diesel fuel, getting all that, some apples to the grocery store. Apple is up, not because there's inflation effect on apples, but because there's inflation on the diesel fuel. But as soon as you fix the supply spike on fuel, we are going to discover that the inflation rate is not 3.1, 3.8, 4%. Those are false flags. And so the first thing that he has to do, Pat, is get through all this, because I believe we need rate cut. We need a quarter cut on July 28th, 29th. That's what I believe, and all the supply-siders that I line up with believe that. His fight is going to be against the spike, because the spike is not, you see what I'm saying? It's a supply spike that is putting inflation statistics that might normally indicate inflation, but it's not. And so I am glad this guy got through 13-11, 55-45. I'm glad that Trump's happy with him. I agree. The relationship can only go one way from that press conference. But I'm telling you, I am praying this guy is successful, and people should put aside the partisan and understand that the socialists love the Keynesians because they're government-oriented people and they want to control demand by government, and that's what the socialists want. The supply-siders like me are free market guys.
Did you get that, Vin?
Dude, I concur with everything that he just said.
You sure?
100%.
Well, you know what?
What?
You might be wrong, buddy.
What?
Because there might be some things that Tom is wrong about.
Go ahead, tell me.
I mean, I'm not going to fight with Tom, but I mean, maybe other people. There's one thing that I'll correct on that. By the way, welcome to the big leagues, Kevin Marsh. Kevin Warsh. See, he's not even a known guy now. I've got his name wrong.
Marsh.
Welcome to the big leagues, Kevin Warsh. By the way, we just talked earlier about MBAs and going to education. This guy is a prodigy. This guy went to Stanford. He went to Harvard, then he went to Harvard Business School, and then he went to Harvard Law School.
So two tasks.
Who's this guy? He's Tomming it up.
Yeah.
He makes Tom look like a buffoon. And Tom's the smartest guy we know. We all know that. But here's a couple things. We know that the Fed's job is to do two things: keep employment at a rate below 5%, and keep interest rates as close to 2%. And they're constantly moving that lever. Bad news for the Fed crowd. This guy's just going to retain more power. But here's why I disagree with Tom. You're saying that you're most likely going to have a rate cut. That's kind of what you said. Wall Street, it says here, that they're planning and betting on a rate hike. They're saying that
Why are they betting?
Wall Street has increased their bets on a potential rate rise.
Why?
Traders in the futures market are now fully pricing in a quarter-point increase in rates by the end of 2026. Here's my question. You think Trump brought this guy in to do an increase? Doubtful, right? Because that's basically.
But that's not what's going to happen. These types of guys, they're not going to do what the president wants them to do. This guy's not going to do what
That's my
Trump wants
point.
him to do. Yeah.
Is that everyone is saying that you need to basically keep rates as is, and they're factoring in a potential rate hike. What Trump wants and what Tom is sort of saying is a rate reduction, right?
Right.
Bottom line, a quarter point is probably going to go up, yes, or go down.
By the way, it's not my arbitrary want. I believe when the supply shock goes away on oil and things come back down, we are going to discover we do not have an inflationary economy. We are discover that we've got job changes and unemployment, which means we need to give capital to businesses to go expand.
I agree with you on the
I believe
temporary
that's
inflation,
where
what
we're
they call
going.
it transitory. Back in the day, I think obviously there's an oil spike and everything like that. The bigger thing, I think, what you're saying is how to basically hire employment due to AI. I think you think that's
everybody's been spooked by the length of time of the war, and they're seeing all these inflation-oriented stats out there, but it's not broad-based structural inflation at the bottom.
I think we're saying the same thing. Is
and
that,
so
that
that's
the
why
oil
they're
thing is
pricing
short
in.
term?
They're
the
like,
AI
oh my
thing,
gosh, all
unemployment
these
is long
stats are
term.
going to be out there, and Warren is going to have no choice but to raise it a quarter. And I'm like, get
What do you
the
think,
spike
Vin?
out of
What do
the
you think's
way.
gonna
That's
happen?
not what's going to happen?
I'm riding and die with Pimp Tom.
We officially have our speakers for the Vault Conference finalized. And I waited to the last one. And the last one, I literally got the confirmation last night at 8 p.m., 7 p.m.-ish, when I got the text that we're done. And I wanted to make sure we put an event together where we talk about everything that's going on with AI, the good, bad, the ugly, and how to leverage it. One of the biggest names on AI we're bringing, you're going to know who he is. Many of you will. I wanted to talk about the importance of having running mates, because for me, winning at the highest level, you need a running mate. Tom is a running mate. You go faster when you find your running mate. So I brought two people that ran together and won multiple championships together. And then I wanted to bring somebody that your sons, a lot of you guys are bringing their sons and their kids on social media to be able to know how to build a brand. Maybe the guy that was able to do this at the highest level and who he's one of the biggest names right now on social media, who's very successful, made a lot of money as well. And last but not least, one of the biggest podcasters in the world who does it in a way that's very different than everybody else, and he's killing it. He's got almost 20 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. With that being said, these are the speakers at the Vault Conference 2026, MGM Grand Arena. Go ahead, Rob. The beautiful thing about these events, you know how quickly it goes? Like this. Is everybody ready to get started?
I've helped over 10,000 business owners grow and scale their companies. I'm just passionate about watching entrepreneurs create great business.
When you get guys like Jerry Rice, that was his work ethic.
We were able to do some great things on the football field.
Wow.
The single most important trait I had was a healthy dose of delusion.
Stephen Bartlett.
And that delusion is sometimes also referred to as self-belief.
Coming from UK.
When I can do something that I love, that is good for
Get
business,
out of here,
and I can make content out of, that's my trifecta.
That's so cool.
That's a great lineup.
Good for you, Logan.
It's a
Thanks for being a part of this.
phenomenal lineup. Vault Conference, MGM Grand Arena. If you haven't yet registered, listen, CO tickets, which there's only 500 of, less than 100 left. Go to vault2026.com, vault2026.com. Get your tickets. We have companies that are bringing, one company from France is bringing 500 of their sales reps from France. Did you hear what I just said?
Oui.
From France. Oui. Yes. They're bringing so some of you guys are on the sales team. You have your executive team. A lot of guys bring their family, their partners. And also with some of you that want to have your kids learning on how to create content the way that Logan and Jake Paul have, and they became who they are today with their businesses, you may want to bring your kids as well. So go to vault2026.com, get registered. We cannot wait to see you. It'll be the greatest Vault Conference we've ever had. Cannot wait to see everybody there. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here. Breaking news just came in right now, Rob. With the Strait of Hormuz, Iran said they're shutting it down. They're not keeping it open. They're closing it. And it's mainly around the stories of Lebanon and Israel fire that is going on. That's what they're saying, the stories behind what they're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has accused Trump administration of ceasefire violations and will move to close Strait of Hormuz and stop exchanging messages with the U.S. through intermediaries. Iran state-affiliated outlet just said this. The report, translated from a post on the messaging app Telegram, pointed to Israel's military operations in Lebanon against the Iranian-backed militia Hezbollah as a violation of the ceasefire with the U.S. Go a little bit lower, Rob. The report said an Israeli ceasefire in Lebanon is a precondition for the ceasefire between Iran and U.S., and the ceasefire has now been violated on all fronts. Iran's again. Abbas Araghchi posted on social media X that Lebanon is included in the ceasefire with the U.S., and any violation on the front shall be considered a violation of all fronts. The U.S. and Israel bear responsibility for the consequences of any breach of the truce. If you want to go a little bit lower, Rob, to wrap it up, Israel announced Sunday it's captured Lebanon's, is that the name?
Buford.
Buford
that
Castle,
you
the
showed
one we talked
of
about earlier. Yeah, Buford. Bibi on Monday ordered attacks, etc. So here's the part when I read this, by the way. When I read this, it makes me think about two things when you see this. One is the fact that they want you to leave Hezbollah alone. Isn't that one of their proxy militaries that they have that is on a rampage? I remember growing up with Hezbollah myself in Iran. So they want you to leave any of their proxy military, the Hezbollahs, the Houthis. Part of the term is to leave them alone. Oh, that makes a lot of sense when you're negotiating with them. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, but the part that they're getting this bold now goes back to the conversation that we had. There's something going on internally with these guys. The extremists do not want to give up the power.
Yeah.
The extremists do not want to give up the power. So as you're negotiating with them and they're closing the Strait of Hormuz, Adam, your thoughts on this?
Oh, they're playing games, Pat. And I'll tell you why. Why would Lebanon be included in a ceasefire with Iran and the United States?
Because Hezbollah is funded by them. It's one of their militaries that
because
proxies.
basically, I said Lebanon is now Iran first. People accuse America's owned by Israel.
Do me a favor first.
Yeah.
Can you show me what the gas prices are? What are gas prices showing right now? What's happened since this announcement? I'm curious to know how.
$6.50 on WTI oil.
Zoom in. Okay, it just went up.
$7.12 now.
So eight.
Look at that spike.
8.8 and 8+% increase. 94.48. So it's real. It's a real thing. Adam, continue.
Look, Iran's playing games. Put yourself in each of these people's positions. Let's say you're Israel for a second. You're like, hey, we're not even in the room, so just let us know what's in the agreement. They go, yeah, you can't. Part of the agreement is you can't go after Hezbollah anymore in Lebanon. And Israel goes, yeah, but they're shooting rockets into our cities. So what do you want us to do? So Israel, because they actually have an existential threat, literally, they're like, no, dude, we're going to go after the terrorist regime that's basically embedded themselves in Lebanon, known as Hezbollah. We can't condone this. And Iran goes, look, you see, they're just blame Israel. They broke the ceasefire again. And then do you remember what J.D. Vance says? Do you remember what Marco Rubio says? Do you remember what Trump said? He goes, yeah, Hezbollah was never part of the ceasefire. Do you remember that?
Of course.
J.D. Vance was like standing in front of a Air Force Two or something like that. He goes, no, they're trying to input that into the ceasefire.
I get that.
Into the agreement.
But I'm going to tell you something as well, Adam. There is no way Israel wants this war to stop.
Well,
there is no
Israel
way.
wants a regime change.
I know they do. So then which, by the way, to the people that believe Hezbollah is bad, Houthis are bad, all these military proxies that they fund, that whatever money comes to them, they put in and make those strong. For those, that would be part of the side of the argument you would be with. But to me, if you're watching Bibi's moves, Bibi does not want this deal to get done.
Well,
they don't want the deal to get done.
You would know better than me. There's one word why Iran, the IRGC, does not want this to get done. And that word is revolution. If the IRGC and the Ayatollah is no longer running the Islamic Republic of Iran, you know what that means? That means the revolution is done. The whole concept that they want is this Islamic revolution to take over not only the Middle East, but the world. So if there's an actual regime change in the IRGC, the Islamic, what does it stand for? Revolutionary Guard Corps, that means the revolution is done. So like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I don't see a deal getting done.
This war is
and until they actually finish the job, I don't think we're leaving this.
What is finishing
But here's
the
my
job?
point. Either they do it now Or they
Finish
do
the
this in
job
50
means
years.
different things to different people.
Finish a job, Adam, is literally nuke them. That's the only wipe them all out because
But
they're not going to give up.
return to the conversation about Carg Island.
Well, my question to you is, what is finishing the job? Please, I want to know what finishing the job, because he makes a great point. BB doesn't want
for him. The finishing the job is a regime collapse or regime change.
Yeah,
that's what finishing the job. But to me,
Yeah.
let me go through again. It goes back to those 5 communities, right? It goes to IRGC, which is Khamenei. It goes to the moderates like Pezeshkian, who claimed he was resigning yesterday, and now, Mojtaba, he needs to prove it. With these, then you have U.S., then you have the world, and then you have Israel. Israel wants one thing, okay? Israel wants one thing. Bibi wants regime change, regime collapse all. I don't think Trump is sitting here now saying he wants the same thing as Bibi does. I don't think they share the common agenda. Look what Mark Levin is doing. Mark Levin is calling out nonstop Trump negotiating with them. Same with Cruz, same with others. Which, by the way, again, that's their position on what they want. It doesn't seem to be Trump's position. The way they get him back in by creating chaos like this and making the deal to be difficult to be done. But by the way, Vinny, a part of it which I kind of side with them is the following. I'm okay, like, if this goes with moderates running Iran, but if they're going to go and IRGC is still running the whole thing, there is no deal. You can't believe a single word that comes out of their mouth. Not one word that comes out of IRGC's mouth. Nothing.
Yeah.
You can't believe a single thing that they're saying. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, but here's my thing. From the beginning of this, did they not realize these people were going to act exactly as these are the people that say death to America?
Sometimes you don't know how powerful. Sometimes you don't know what their capabilities are. By the way, they showed themselves that they can stand up.
Heck yeah.
No,
what do you mean no?
Well, they showed themselves that they're willing to kill their people and kill all their neighbors.
No, but here's my question though. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone. What are they? What? Here's my question. The Navy's gone. They keep bragging that's the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
Air Force, they're decimated. How are they still controlling
still have missiles
and
that they're willing,
and the regime isn't
that
changing?
they're willing to hit their neighboring countries.
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm UAE,
what were they using to
or
plant
Saudi, I'm way
mines?
more worried than Israel.
Yeah, exactly.
Floaties?
Yeah.
Say, Tom?
Yeah.
You said their navy's at the bottom of it. Really? Then what were they using? They were using small fast boats. They still have them. Small boat to plant mines as recently as a week and a half ago. That was a Thursday before Memorial Day, right? So they still had some capability out there because we sat there and go to, hey, excuse me,
Yeah.
you with the mine?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, right? It's right. You're about to enter the TSA express lane to see Allah, dude. Unless you want to just go and back off here. I'm being ridiculous, but I'm not being incorrect.
No,
that's what's going on. And now Israel's coming back, and it's like Israel's not playing football in
One simple question for Pat. Is there any deal that the IRGC, the Ayatollah, would honor ahead of the Allah revolution of Islamic caliphate? Is there any deal they would honor above that?
I don't trust IRGC for a second. And I don't like the fact that Pezeshkian is being pushed out and not being involved in decision-making, because it tells you the extremists are still having a chokehold on everybody, and they're going to use this as a victory against everybody. But I also understand what Bibi's doing. Bibi is going to extend the lifespan of this war by not stopping attacking Hezbollah, Lebanon. Bibi is going to extend that because he doesn't want that deal. And whether that's going to hurt his relationship with Trump or not, who knows? Behind closed doors, all the stuff that's happening. And, who knows IRGC better, Trump or Bibi?
Well, Bibi.
Who's going to know the DNA of those guys? Gulf states or America? Gulf states. Gulf states are unified against the IRGC. So I don't know. I don't know. I would tell you, if you really wanted to prolong it, take out Pezeshkian. If Pezeshkian is taken on next couple weeks, that's like a real way of saying, nope, we're not. Kill all the moderates. I'm not telling you what they're going to say is like, if they kill all the moderates and that's what they do, that's their way of saying you're left with them. Do you want to negotiate with them or do you want to get rid of them? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying or not.
I get it.
Forcing you to a hand to say, all right, who do you want to do? And so Now, dirty strategy, effective strategy, call it whatever you want, but they're at least their strategy is get rid of all the moderates, so you're forced to only deal with IRGC, and then you learn IRGC is not people like you and I to negotiate with. Then guess what the job is. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with this slippery slope, going back and forth. Has Trump tweeted anything yet, or no? Has he said anything about it? He typically will move very quickly with stuff like
shout
this.
Shout out to Google for having a pride.
Is that really what they're doing?
Yes.
American Pride? That's good. American Pride.
Yeah, no, that's not American
Pride. Is that Studio 54
that's
disco?
Studio 54 disco ball for Google.
Has he said anything, Rob, or no? No, 10 hours.
10 hours.
Okay.
Well, he's going to say something soon, I guarantee it.
He will say
what
something very
right
short.
This was 1 o'clock this morning.
Iran really wants to make a deal, and it'll be a good one for the U.S. and those with us, but don't the Democrats, very seemingly unpatriotic Republicans, understand that it is much tougher for me to properly do my job and negotiate when political hacks keep negatively chirping at levels never seen before over and over again that I should move faster or move slower or go to war or not go to war or whatever. Just sit back and relax. It'll all work out at the end. It always does. By the way, that's a very reassuring message by a leader. It was yesterday. We had people over at the house, and I'm walking around, and Thomas asked me about the different shoes. So I wore the white, the brown, and the black this weekend, okay? All weekend I wore the white, the brown, and the black. The white was for Senna's birthday. The brown I wore at the office on Friday, and the black I wore yesterday, right? Every single day, except for now I think it's 12 days. Since September 9th of 2025, I have worn these Future Looks Bright shoes. They're the most comfortable shoes I have with the on-cloud the Superfoam technology on the bottom, and then made in Tuscany, made in Italy. Rob, if you want to play this clip, folks, with Father's Day being around the corner, if you haven't yet picked up yourself a Future Looks Bright shoe for yourself, maybe pick it up for your father or somebody that you love. Go ahead and play the clip, Rob. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. There you go. Go to VTmerch.com. Place your order. Again, go to VTmerch.com. Place your order with the latest FLB shoes. Some sizes are not available. 14 is still not in, but go check to make sure the size is in because they sell out fairly quickly once they come in. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.